a warm welcome to TV47 News Tonight. I trust you're doing well this first day of July and happy new month. Glad you could join us. My name is Musa Salah and these are the top stories making headlines tonight. Tonight, the highly contagious COVID-19 Delta variant likely to spark a fourth wave of infections in the country in the next 2 months. Kemri Wellcome Trust warns, but the Ministry of Health has refuted the claims.
But we believe certain measures that we took early in the month of June could preempt the development of a fourth wave coming in July.
Plus, Day 3 of the BBI appeal hearing.
The moment you become president, you cease being a person. You become a state officer.
Respondents' lawyers fight to prove that President Kenyatta was involved in the BBI popularization. Also tonight, a rise in cases of insecurity, particularly kidnapping in Nairobi City.
Maana hii inaonekana ni new trend, ni mtindo mpya wa uhalifu wa kuchukua mtu na kumpoteza na kunyamaza.
Many such cases involve the youth, but psychologists blame, among other things, single parenting.
A child will require an all-round bringing up, because what the male parent will bring on the table is not what the female parent will bring on the table.
Welcome to the broadcast. Minnie Mbesa is our sign language interpreter. TV47 News Tonight begins right now. Kenya will be experiencing a fourth COVID-19 wave come mid-July 2021. This is according to a modeling forecast by the that indicates the dominance of the 60% highly transmissible Indian variant in the country will propagate an addition of 32,000 cases, 4,300 hospitalizations, and 580 deaths. However, Acting Director General of Health Dr. Patrick Amoth says the stringent measures enforced in the month of June preempt the development of a fourth wave in the coming days, as Zaina Mohammed now reports.
A modeling forecast by the Kemri Wellcome Trust paints a grim picture of the country's future as it indicates a looming fourth wave in the country come mid-July, that is this month. According to the Research Institute, genomic data from across the country shows the Indian variant slowly over a period of 3 months dominated the Alpha variant, that was the UK variant, putting the country at a high risk since the variant is considered 60% highly transmissible. This, the Research Institute says, makes the occurrence of the fourth wave an imminent affair, with an additional 32,000 infections, 4,300 hospitalizations, and 580 deaths predicted in the coming months.
We have about 5 or 6 variants of concern. And these are the Alpha, the Beta, the Delta, the Gamma, the Epsilon, and the Lambda. And these ones are because of increased transmissibility, and also because they also cause more severe disease.
The modeling further shows the start of a fourth wave is imminent in the coastal region, Nairobi, Nyanza, and the western parts of the country, with these areas marked high risk of experiencing an overrun in the health sectors. The Acting Director General of Health, Dr. Patrick Amoth, however, says the stringent measures enforced in the country in the month of June preempts the development of a fourth wave in the coming days. Dr. Amoth, however, warns Kenyans should strictly adhere to the COVID-19 guidelines, as less than 1% of the adult population are fully vaccinated.
Information as to whether we have a fourth wave, of course, is data-driven. But we believe certain measures that we took early in the month of June could preempt the development of a fourth wave coming in July.
Zainab Mohammed, TV47.
Well, thank you, Zainab Mohammed, for that report. Now, the BBI case at the Court of Appeal entered day 3 today, with the respondents challenging President Uhuru Kenyatta's participation in the process. The respondents, led by LSK President Nelson Havi, said President Uhuru Kenyatta did not have the right to initiate the BBI process because he is not a private citizen, and the BBI proponents poked holes into the issue of public participation in the process, citing Siaya County, where the bill was passed within hours of debate.
We look at the JLAC report.
2 days after the 4 appellants in the BBI appeal presented their submissions to the 7-judge bench of the Court of Appeal, the respondents whose petition at the High Court rendered the BBI process null and void had a field day at the open court, one by one attacking the arguments submitted by the appellants.
Need for referendum prohibits.
Top on their basket was ODM leader Raila Odinga, and the BBI Secretariat's claimed that the Secretariat co-chairs Dennis Waweru and Junet Mohammed were the official promoters of the BBI bill.
The impugned amendment process must be viewed as a direct product of the handshake that we all know about. Those facts are not in dispute. In our petition that we filed in the High Court, we made a description of the parties that we sued. The first and second respondents instructed an advocate. He entered appearance for the respondents, who is the BBI steering committee and the Secretariat, not Junet Mohammed, not Dennis Waweru. My lords, having established that indeed it was the executive that initiated this process, and having also established that the executive is not allowed to initiate a popular initiative because that power has not been donated to them, I submit that the impugned bill is unconstitutional. It is not a popular initiative. It is a presidential initiative.
According to the council, the popular initiative had all the hallmarks of President Uhuru Kenyatta's involvement.
You've seen legislators speak here and seek to ascribe to themselves the title Wanjiku. A legislator can never be a Wanjiku. It's as simple as that. The moment you become president, you cease being a person. You become a state officer.
You must avoid declothe yourself of executive authority, then become a citizen. I'll give you an example that happened with this same executive, Your Lordship. In 2014, our president was facing a personal case at The Hague. When he was leaving for that case, which was his personal matter to attend to, he did the right thing. And I believe, under the advice of Emeritus AG then, Professor Githu Muigai, he handed over power to the Deputy President.
The respondents dug deeper into the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission's role in the race to a plebiscite, poking holes into the Commission's signature verification exercise.
If what the drafters of the Constitution intended was that the verification simply be that this name appears in the register of voters, it would have asked for a list of names of voters. It would not have asked for signatures.
If I could just follow, are you suggesting that registered voters who do not have signatures cannot participate, cannot be the support an initiative under Sabbatical 1 to make up the 1 million, so that those who do not have signatures cannot participate?
My Lord, it is not my suggestion. The Constitution demands that what is presented to the Commission are supporting signatures. If I do not have a signature as a voter, how would my signature end up in the list of supporting signatures?
3 respondents out of the 16 that submitted their submissions to the court opted to decamp and seconded the appeal, with the hearing expected to be concluded tomorrow before the judges retreat to make the landmark decision that may make or break one of President Kenyatta's legacies.
Enacted, but that they were the promoters.
Now, still on matters BBI, even as the hearing of BBI appeal enters day 3 at the Court of Appeal, a research firm, TIFA, says that percentage of Kenyans supporting the Building Bridges Initiative BBI has dwindled, as Mudhoni Maina now reports.
According to a survey done by research firm TIFA between June 24th and June 28th, 2021, that involved 1,500 respondents, a drop of 8% was recorded as 34% of Kenyans still support the BBI, compared to the previous 42% that was in support of the Constitution Amendment in December last year. However, only a 3% increase on the opposing side was recorded, as the percentage rose from 46 to 50%. On voting patterns, 19% of those interviewed said they will vote for the BBI if a referendum is held. These new figures represent a decrease of 10% from the last hypothesis of 29% done in December last year. Huge percentage of those who will pass the BBI referendum are ODM supporters at 59%, followed by Jubilee at 25%, and UDA recorded at 9%. 57% of UDA proponents opposed the BBI referendum, followed by Jubilee at 31%, and ODM recorded 13% of the respondents. The TIFA survey also queried respondents on the possibility of having the BBI referendum following its nullification by the High Court on 4th May. 34% of the respondents said the probability of having a BBI referendum is not likely at all, as 20% noted that they are not sure about it. Only 8% of the respondents said they are certain of having the referendum before the next general elections. Overall, 43% of Kenyans perceive the main aspiration behind the push for the BBI reforms related to efforts influencing the outcome of next year's election. A sizable minority of 25% consider it to be an undertaking of both politicians and citizens aimed at addressing certain problems the country is facing. The theses of the research were obtained before the Court of Appeal began to hear the case of appeal challenging the judgment of the High Court that declared the entire BBI process intended to lead to a national referendum to approve or reject the proposals contained in the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill of 2021 unconstitutional, null and void. Mudhoni Maina, TV 47.
Bibi! Well, let's get some more of COVID-19 related stories, and the good news is that plans are underway for Kenya to start manufacturing COVID-19 vaccine. This was announced by the Acting Director General at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Patrick Amoth, who says that the decision was reached out by Pan-African countries after the continent experienced vaccine apartheid carried out by some developed nations, as Sharon Baranga now reports.
Other pandemics that will be coming.
For some time now, African leaders have been complaining on what they termed as vaccine apartheid being experienced on the continent. Kenya is now among countries planning to start manufacturing of the COVID-19 vaccine at a laboratory launched by the Walter Sisulu Foundation.
You all know how difficult it has been to be able to access the COVID-19 vaccines. The West continued with its vaccination program, going ahead to be able to vaccinate a large proportion of their population, including young people. So you can be able to see the inequity in that a young person of 25 years in the developed world would be able to have access to the vaccine, but has a very low risk of severe COVID disease. Yet a 60-year-old person in Africa with coexistent morbidities, hypertension, diabetes, coronary heart disease, would not be able to access the vaccine.
The Ministry of Health says the process of manufacturing the vaccine will start in the next 6 to 9 months. Amoth also said the European Union's decision to demand vaccine certificates from travelers was unfair, as the jabs have not been availed equally to all nations.
The only reasonable thing to do is to submit me to a PCR test. If I turn negative, I should be allowed to travel.
It is not just Kenya that has plans to manufacture the COVID-19 vaccine, but other African countries that have been complaining of vaccine appetite are also gearing towards creating solutions to their problems. Sharon Baranga, TV 47.
All right, Sharon Baranga's report takes us to a short commercial break, but we'll be back with more. Do stay with us. Coming up, Senate Legal Affairs Committee approves Senator Kipchumba Murkomen's bill seeking to amend the Elections Act to remove the degree requirement for those vying for MPs and MCA's seat.
You are watching
Munisikize. Kwanza nataka kusema jambo moja. Tumepata mgeni ambaye anaitwa Beatrice, ameingia kwenye kikundi hiki. Mnafurahia? Huyu ndio dada Beatrice. Japo kwa kuna mama tu mmoja anaitwa What? Elvis, come here.
Washer Ultra Detergent, unlike your ordinary washing powder, is formulated with 3D enzyme action designed to remove stain, kill germs, and make your laundry super clean. With ultra concentration for that one handful wash, plus a smooth fragrance to put a smile on your face.
Kuna uchafu kwenye nguo zangu, ninashindwa nitafanya vipi? Kuna suluhisho moja ya ajabu, na ni nini kama si washa?
Hey, baby. I thought leo ni chama. Nini naendelea?
Washa Ultra ina nguvu mara 3 ya kupambana na kila uchafu. Washa Ultra ni sabuni ya ajabu. Sisi sote tung'are na washa.
Washer Ultra. Happy hands, happy clothes.
At Global Precast Panels, we have the best quality, durable, and affordable precast panels to suit all your needs. Manufactured under a controlled environment, we have the best precast concrete panels, precast concrete floor slabs, precast concrete perimeter wall, precast concrete columns, and beams. Our panels reduce construction cost by up to 40% with absolutely no plaster required, including added soundproof benefits. Convenient for stories.
All right, welcome back. You're watching TV 47 News Tonight. Keep talking to us. 22047 is our SMS line. You can also find us on social media at TV47 Kenya on Facebook, as well as at TV47K on Twitter. The hashtag to use is TV47 News Tonight. Now, moving on, for the past few months, reports of criminal activities happening within Nairobi and its environs have dominated media outlets. The activities ranging from muggings, abductions to even murder, especially within specific parts of the Kenyan capital, are now raising eyebrows as police officers continue to be put on the spot in the quest for answers and justice. But what or who is behind the wave of that is currently gripping the country? Our reporter David Mudoka looks at the latest pattern of criminal activities amid fears of a surge in the rate of crimes in the country.
On the Monday of 19th April this year, the country woke up to the mysterious disappearances of 4 men who were last spotted leaving a restaurant in Kitengela the day before. Their disappearances in broad daylight would set off a chain of events that culminated in the finding of 2 bodies of the 4 men stashed in gunny bags in MURANG'A and Kiambu counties. It later emerged that the 4 were career criminals and someone or some people had just played judge, jury and executioner on them. In the run-up to the abduction and subsequent killing of part of the Kitengela quartet, police were already probing another puzzling disappearance, that of sharpshooter Dafton Mutunga Mwitiki, who rose to fame during the infamous Dusit D2 attack. Mwitiki was reportedly abducted on 11th March while leaving his office at Galana Plaza in Westlands, Nairobi, and despite his vehicle being found a day later abandoned near a dam outside Juja, Auckland Estate, thus reigniting hopes, his trail has since gone cold 4 months on. Other high-profile cases that have shook the country in the past few months, and all of which have taken place within Nairobi, include that of businessman Bashir Mohamud, who went missing from Kilimani on May 13th only for his body to be found at Kerugoya Level 5 Hospital mortuary, that of security consultant Mwenda Mbinjiwe, who vanished on June 12th without a trace, as well as that of 23-year-old Hafsa Lukman, who spent 5 days in the hands of her captors before detectives in Kayole came to her rescue on June 20th. The wave of kidnappings now seems to be sweeping over another part of Nairobi, Zimmerman Estate, where in the past month 10 children and 3 adults have been abducted. While this has continued to send chills down the spines of residents, some quarters in the police force are now alarmed by the spate that is evidently a new craze within Nairobi's underworld.
Tutaweza kufunua, maana hii inaonekana ni new trend, ni mtindo mpya wa uhalifu wa kuchukua mtu na kumpoteza na kunyamaza.
We've already broken the cartels because those who were kidnapped last week, we have already rescued the victims and have arrested several of those who had done the kidnapping. And so this is an issue that is coming to an end very soon.
The abductions are, however, not the only happening, raising eyebrows among Nairobi residents. Muggings in broad daylight in certain hotspots within the Nairobi CBD seem to be back at an even higher rate. Most of the victims have been forced to take to social media to narrate their ordeals and put police officers on the spot, with fears the muggings might continue to thrive unabated, rife.
Right now, I'm sure you have seen officers in plenty, officers in uniform, in fact walking in bigger numbers than before. And so we have increased security tremendously.
Amid the assurances, all eyes are now trained on the men in blue to stem the rampant crime rate. David Mudhoka, TV47, Nairobi.
A perfectly executed report there by our very own David Mudhoka. And now still on matters crime, poor parenting, drug abuse and moral decay in the society has been attributed to the increased cases of juvenile crime in the country. Parents have been blamed for failing to issue guidance to the children, pushing the young adults to commit crimes, with the majority involved in murder and kidnapping cases, as Mwangi Maina now reports.
Monday, June 28, 2021, detectives based in Lang'ata, Nairobi, arrested 24-year-old Peter Omwemo Momanyi alongside his accomplice 25-year-old John Mushiri. The two were planning to commit a felony by waylaying fitness enthusiasts who jog along Lang'ata and Bagathi roads here in Nairobi. Crude weapons, including a knife and chain, were recovered from Omwemo, who was disguised as a woman. A day earlier, detectives from the Directorate of Criminal Investigations had smoked out 21-year-old Hafsa Abdi and 24-year-old Jackson Jogu from their hideout in Kinangop, Nyandarua County. The two were arrested as a prime suspect in the abduction and torture of a 23-year-old Kamukunji-based businesswoman in Nairobi. The two suspects had siphoned 650,000 Kenya shillings from Hafsa's bank account and purchased a bar in Kinangop. These are just some of crime cases involving the youth that have dominated our headlines in the recent past. But what is pushing the youth to engage in crime? Catherine Wajiko Kanyoro, a high school teacher, counselor and youth mentor, attributes this to poor and absentee parenting, unemployment, drug abuse, moral decay, desire for quick riches, among other ills. Wanjiku avers that single parenting, as much as it is unavoidable, is to blame for some of the social ills, noting that marriage has a strong, positive and consistent effect on the well-being of children.
A child will require an all-round bringing up, because what the male parent will bring on the table is not what the female parent will bring on the table. And where we've experienced, say, single mother parenthood, you find that many parents, especially those who are bringing up boys, they'll tend to elevate the boy to the position of a man at a very early age. So when this boy becomes the man in the family, maybe at age 10, 11, 12, making decisions, then he skips that point where he's supposed to be mentored as a boy or as a man. So because it's something we can't evade, I think it is upon us as parents, if you're a single parent, to fill in the other part that is missing. Not once have I heard people say, I've never punished my child ever since. And this child we are talking about maybe 17, is going to 18, or even going to college. But I've never punished, I've never reprimanded. So again, we are torn in between as parents, that part where we want to be modern and we also want to be traditional.
Wanjiku further says some youth engage in crime because they are overwhelmed by responsibilities, societal pressure, gambling, debts, among others.
I would request and actually urge our parents that once your child, let me just call them child or youth, is working, that is when you need to even be hawk-eyed. That is when you need to know how they are faring on and even pay them a visit once in a while, an impromptu visit. Know how your son is living, know how your daughter is living. Because most of them are living on borrowed money. And if they are living on borrowed money, we've seen cases of suicide among 30 to 40-year-olds. It is on the rise. Why? Because somebody has a lot of debt and the society has a lot of expectation.
Councillors say values of hard work, diligence, honesty and patience need to be inculcated among the youth to curb the rate of crime, as well as encouraging innovation among young adults.
I've seen the creative side of these people. They are very, very creative, very innovative. So if we can encourage that innovation, give it the platform that it requires, then I think we are going to curb the whole. Okay, we are not saying we are going to eliminate crime 100%, but once it goes down, then it's very good. Because even those who are getting into crime will realize it is not paying per se.
The society has also been urged to collectively advocate for behavior and attitude change among the youth by showing concern on cases of crime happening around them, irrespective of whether they are affecting them or not. Mwangi Maina, TV47, Nairobi.
Well, Mwangi Maina's report takes us to a short commercial break, but we'll be back with more. Remember, you can follow this live broadcast on www.tv47.co.ke.
You are watching TV47.
Munisikize. Kwanza nataka kusema jambo moja. Tumepata mgeni ambaye anaitwa Beatrice, ameingia kwenye kikundi hiki. Mnafurahia? Huyu ndio dada Beatrice. Japo kwa kuna mama tu mmoja anaitwa What? Elvis, come here.
Washer Ultra Detergent, unlike your ordinary washing powder, is formulated with 3D enzyme action designed to remove stain, kill germs, and make your laundry super clean. With ultra concentration for that one handful wash, plus a smooth fragrance to put a smile on your face.
Kuna uchafu kwenye nguo zangu, ninashindwa nitafanya vipi? Kuna suluhisho moja ya ajabu, na ni nini kama si washa?
Hey, baby. I thought leo ni chama. Nini inaendelea?
Washa Ultra ina nguvu mara 3 ya kupambana na kila uchafu. Washa Ultra ni sabuni ya ajabu, sisi sote tung'are na washa.
Washer Ultra. Happy hands, happy clothes.
At Global Precast Panels, we have the best quality, durable and affordable precast panels to suit all your needs. Manufactured under a controlled environment, we have the best precast concrete panels, precast concrete floor slabs, precast concrete perimeter wall, precast concrete columns and beams. Our panels reduce construction cost by up to 40% with absolute
Welcome back. You're watching TV 47 News Tonight. Residents of Gotv, Kandara in MURANG'A County are living in fear following the reemergence of a gang that is now forcing women to undergo the cut. The women allegedly undergo female genital mutilation in full glare of the gang members. The latest victim being a mother of 3 who is nursing serious injuries at the MURANG'A General Hospital. Mike Agwongo with the details.
The middle-aged woman and a mother of 3 from Gotv Kandara constituency is now undergoing treatment at MURANG'A Level 4 Hospital after she was forced to undergo the cut. The woman claims that the group members forced their wives to undergo a forceful FGM to suit their beliefs.
Mimi wakati niolewa niko na 12 years na kutoka hapo mbwana yangu alianza kuokoka kanisa hii inaitwa Mwegeke. Na wakati alianza kuokoka hiyo kanisa walikuja nyumbani wakachicha kondoo. Wakati walichicha kondoo walikuwa kitu watu 30 peoples. Na vile walichicha hiyo kondoo alikuja nyumbani akasema hataki kukaa na watu hawatajailiwa. Akaniambia atanitailiwa mimi na pamoja na wasichana wangu wawili.
The lady discloses that at their village a gang of more than 40 men who are members of the sect group have been terrorizing young girls and women who have not undergone FGM. She was forced to run away from her home with her 3 daughters aged 2 and 6 years to evade the outlawed sect members.
Mimi nikamwambia wakinitalia nitaenda kuripoti. Mimi nikakibia mpaka kwa chifu wa kwetu anaitwa Mwangi wa Ndarwa. Mwangi wa Ndarwa aliniambia nienda nikubali, si mimi wa kwanza kutailiwa. Na akaniambia kazi yake si ya kuchaguliwa na wananchi. Then ni masomo yake imemweka hapo.
A good number of women from her village have kept quiet after being forced to undergo the cut, fearing for their lives and breaking their families.
Ningetaka watu wenye walifanya hiyo kitendo ya udhuru huyu msichana achukuliwe hatua. Hiyo kitendo baya sana.
The woman is now in agony after the wound in her private parts deteriorated over a fortnight ago and is now unable to walk and revealing herself is a problem.
Watu wengine wakakuja wakanishika shingo, wakanifuruta nguo, wakaanza kunikatakata sehemu yangu ya siri. Kuniduga tu na shindano. Hapo ndio mimi nilienda nikaripoti huko Kandara. Walitumia kucha, wakasema wanataka kunitailia na kucha, na walikuwa na kisu wakanikata sehemu yangu ya siri, halafu wakachukua sindano wakaanza kuniduga huko ndani.
The husband is now in demand after he was arrested with 2 other sect members who were later released on cash bail after being charged at Kandara Law Court. However, MURANG'A County Commissioner Fred Donga insists that the security apparatus have been deployed to deal with the sect.
Na tumeanza uchunguzi, tayari kuna watu wawili ambao tunachunguza huko upande wa Kandara. Na nimeweka DCI kwa hiyo kazi. Waanze kufuatilia na hivi karibuni tutakuwa tunawapa matokeo ya yale tutakuwa tumepata. Kwa sasa hiyo kazi inaendelea chini ya maji.
The fast rising sect activities are concentrated in MURANG'A, Kiambu, Kirinyaga, Nyeri, Nyandarua, and parts of Laikipia counties. According to sources, the sect was established by a person they refer to as Motari, or the Godfather, who after speaking to the gods, had a revelation that the ills and misfortunes bedeviling society are brought about by disrespecting teachings of forefathers. Sect members believe female circumcision is a must, and that its abandonment is to blame for the rise of untreatable ailments such as cancer, diabetes, and mental problems. Among the sect's doctrines is female genital mutilation before acceptance. Shaving is also prohibited, and members are to keep their beards as long as possible, with assurance that the longer the beard, the more blessed they are. Smoking and drinking are also prohibited, but one is only allowed to sniff tobacco or herb. Members give a castrated sheep as offering. For TV 47, I'm Mike Kagwango.
The longer the beards, the more the blessings. I wonder what happens to the rest of us. Now, the Senate's Justice and Legal Affairs Committee has approved the bill that seeks to scrap off degree requirement for those aspiring to be MPs and MCAs in the 2022 election. This now gives leeway for debate in Parliament, as Paul Kirobi reports.
Senate's Justice and Legal Affairs Committee on Human Rights has approved the bill that seeks to amend Section 22 of the Elections Act that requires members of Parliament and county assemblies to have a degree certificate in order to vie for elective post in next year's general elections. This gives leeway for the bill to be debated by both houses of Parliament.
So I think at this stage, if the bill meets a constitutional threshold, we don't have much to say at this stage. We'll have an opportunity to, debate on the bill. So I guess there isn't much to say, Senator Murkomen, at this stage.
However, there's still another amendment proposal fronted by Narok Senator Ledamo Lekina that is pushing for members of county assemblies to have at least certificate of secondary education to vie, and for those who do not have the certificate, then he or she should have served for 2 terms, one as a member of county assembly and another one as a member of local authority.
I'm one of those who do not have a degree in this country, and I feel that I am competent enough to perform the functions of an assembly member.
We have even members who have served more than 3 terms as councillors, and they are now doing their 2nd term, and they are highly positioned to continue serving in those positions, and they deliver in their respective county assemblies to their people.
Members of the Jailer Committee have advised the 2 sponsors of the bill to come to a consensus and agree to co-sponsor the bills. County Assemblies Forum moved to the High Court to challenge the implementation of the requirement that is set to take effect in next year's general election, terming the law unconstitutional.
I would propose him and Senator Murkomen to sit and agree to co-sponsor so that we don't deal with 2 almost, they are different slightly, but almost the same bill, so that even when we bring to the House, it will be a strong it will be a strong bill or amendment, and many people will support both the senators. Thank you. I'm in support. Jailer Committee will be meeting again on Tuesday morning to deliberate further on the 2 bills.
Paul Kirobi, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, still on politics, political mergers and coalitions will carry the day ahead of 2022, and according to politicians from different political divides, a coalition will be the only vehicle to the presidency come 2022, and no one will be able to achieve the required 50+1 for the presidency. Now, this comes amid talks within Jubilee and ODM to sign a coalition agreement ahead of next year's polls, a vehicle which is likely to present a candidate in the 2022 presidential race.
Politicians from across the political divides are rife to the fact that it won't be a walk in the park for any presidential candidate to attain the 50+1 of the cast votes, with majority arguing that for any serious presidential candidate to win, they will need a powerful coalition of not less than 3 strong national political parties.
Wiper, ANC, Ford Kenya, ODM are already in the NASA coalition, which they committed themselves until 2022. But now, post-2022, that's where the new formations are coming in. Yeah? Do we continue with, just like I say, KANU is already in a coalition agreement with Jubilee. So people will need to restructure themselves and say, do I stick within a current formation, or do I move into another coalition?
Merger is the way to go. There is no single party in Kenya today which can claim to be so popular to an extent that they can clinch presidency alone. Therefore, the merger between Jubilee and ODM and other parties is the way to go, and that is going to happen from now until maybe February to March next year. We are going to witness several mergers for people to place themselves in a better place to clinch the presidency.
We've got to, I said the 2022 election is going to be very different from how elections have been prepared for and how they have been ran. Traditionally, I said people coalesce around their tribes. However, then people in the central part of Kenya are now truly disabusing the notion that we have always been told. We have always been told that the people from the mountain can never vote for anyone who is not from the mountain.
This comes as several meetings are taking place, with more political coalitions in the offing already having a working pact between KANU, ANC, Wiper and Ford Kenya, amidst report that Gideon Moi of KANU is likely to ditch the One Kenya Alliance ahead of 2022.
One Kenya Alliance. And you're asking whether Honorable Raila is talking to the One Kenya Alliance. I can tell you, Honorable Raila is a ranking member of this country. He's a senior politician and is a very powerful politician. If in his mind deemed so, he is welcome to speak to us, but with very clear guidelines or principles of how we are moving.
Politics is about interest and alignment. The moment you lose the interest in somebody or a party or a coalition, you look for elsewhere. So when you're talking about betrayal, betrayal is as old as politics. It started with politics the same day. So it is not a new thing. Because of change of interest, you can't be in a coalition where your interest is not catered for. You move to another one. If that's what you call betrayal, then it has been there before, and it will be there even after 2022.
There are ongoing talks between the ruling party Jubilee and ODM for a pre-22 pact.
When we talk about 13 months to an election, it's still very good time for realignments. But long and short of it, we've got to know that the 2022 election, the formations that will come will not be formed in the traditional model of tribal groupings. This idea that is being called the Hustler movement. The Hustler movement is a new tribe. This tribe does not know where you come from.
Is working on a potential coalition with Jubilee, right? So everyone is, coalescing towards Jubilee. So it's almost like why come as a team instead of individually? Because negotiations are done on an individual level. Yeah? All politics is local.
On whether these working pacts and coalitions will be sustained until 2022, it's just a matter of wait and see. Elizabeth Mutuku, TV47 Nairobi.
Now, moving on, the Jubilee Party has intensified its campaigns in Kiambaa ahead of the 15th July by-election. KANU Chairman Gideon Moi was in Kiambaa today to drum up support for the ruling Jubilee Party. This as UDA party members accused their opponents of intimidation, as Joash Onsare now reports.
As the clock ticks towards Kiambaa by-election, campaigns have intensified, with the KANU party drumming up support for Jubilee Party in the campaigns. Early Thursday, KANU Party Chairman Gideon Moi, accompanied with Secretary General William Kamket, met a section of Kiambu MCAs in Kiambaa, declaring KANU support for Jubilee Party candidate Kariri Njama in the Kiambaa by-election.
In the forthcoming campaigns which are ongoing, we will support our candidate, the Jubilee candidate here, and we've all resolved that we'll do our utmost to ensure that we have a successful outcome.
Members of the Kikuyu Kiama led by George Wainaina have also rallied behind the Jubilee Party candidate.
Taratibu wetu sasa, unajua Kariri alisimama 2017 akaanguka, na ndio sababu tunasema wewe umeiva, huyu mwingine ataanguka wakati huu na wakati pengine mwingine, alafu tutampangia mambo yake. Sisi hatuna shida. Kuna mambo ambao sisi wenyewe watu wa Kiambaa ni mpango yetu.
Meanwhile, the UDA aspirant Juguna Wawanjiko has accused the Jubilee Party of malpractice, claiming that people suspected to be Jubilee supporters have been removing and destroying UDA posters, urging the IEBC to intervene.
Tuachiwe, tujichaguliwe, tupewe haki ya kujichagulia yule mtu tunataka, tukizingatia demokrasia tuliopewa na katiba ya Kenya. Hatutaki mtu akuja kushurutisha sisi tutachagua nani ama hatutachagua nani.
And we are also asking the government to allow the Kiambaa people, to do their democratic right, which is to elect the people or the person that they want him to be their member of parliament for Kiambaa.
MURANG'A Senator Irungu Kang'ata and Mathira counterpart Rigathi Gachagua have called for fairness in the campaigns, accusing their opponents of intimidation.
I have also written a letter to the British Embassy and also to the American Embassy. They have given me an assurance that they are going to send international observers to ensure Kiambaa election is not stolen. I have no doubt that the government now wants to steal that election. So we need to have very strong international observers to ensure that process is free and fair.
Elsewhere in Embu County, Agriculture CS Peter Munya has continued with his campaigns in the region, where he condemned Deputy President William Ruto's hustler narrative kind of politics.
Na kuna wengine naona wakizunguka kila mikutano matusi wa rais wa Kenya. Ati ni kura wanaomba. Kila wakati mahali popote matusi kwake. Wanasahau president wa Kenya tulimchagua zote. Ni sembo ya unity ya Kenya. Kwa hivyo ukimutusi ni kama unatusi nani? Rajia sisi wale walimpa hiyo nini? Hiyo kazi. Kwa sababu hiyo ni ofisi.
Joash Onsare, TV47.
Well, thank you, Joash Onsare, for that report. And to quickly take a look at some of your comments on social media, Dennis Kibiwot Kilel says he's watching from Olbanata Solai. Paul Makoha Koiki from Lupida Ingo. Rob also watching. Emmanuel Ombidi. Gladys Maina watching from Bahrain, she says, as well as Eunice Adhiambo. Keep talking to us. 22047 is our SMS line. You can also find us on social media at TV47 Kenya on Facebook, as well as at TV47 Kenya on Twitter. It's now time to take a look at what is happening in the world of sports, and our sportsman Dennis Otieno is on standby on the other side of the studio. I'm told we'll be getting back to Dennis in a moment. But Dennis, good evening, Dennis. What do you have for us this evening?
Well, good evening to you too, Musa Salah. Now tonight, we will be telling you about the athletes that were selected to represent the country in the World Under-20 Championships. Now, those are the trials that were taking place earlier today. We shall also be telling you what went down in the Wimbledon tennis competition, as well as some basketball action. Now, this and more coming up.